Hello viewers, and aren't we excited?
Welcome back, Tone.
Thanks, it's been a while.
It has been, well, 3 years since we sat here at this desk that was for Evolution G4.
So what are we doing here again now? It seems a brief time.
It does. Evolution Digital.
What does EW-D stand for?
Well, so digital wireless from Sennheiser at a ridiculously affordable price point.
And they've really developed some new features in here that are going to bring it a long way further from the old G4 series.
I guess most importantly is how good it sounds, which we'll do some demos later on after this video to show just how good it sounds.
So what do we have in the whole area of here? Handhelds, belt packs, what?
Yep, the whole lot. So belt pack like this one, which looks different to the old belt packs, of course. Maybe the screen's on the inside.
Yeah, well, let's hope.
No screen.
Well, how do you do anything without a screen on a transmitter?
We should look at the app, but before we do that, handhelds as well. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And there's a huge array of different capsules. We'll get to that later on.
And they just screw on, but as you say, all right, I won't jump ahead.
I guess the big difference between Evolution Wireless G4 and Evolution Wireless Digital is going to be ease of setup and just how much you can pack into a reasonably small bandwidth. So with Evolution Wireless Digital, we're getting 56 meg.
As opposed to?
42 meg on most of the G4 systems. The banks we're looking at the moment are the R1 to 6. There's a bunch of different frequency banks available.
So R16 comprises 520 to 576 megahertz?
Yes, so 56 meg. How many channels do you reckon we can squeeze into there?
Well, I've read the same information as you, so I'd say 90.
Up to 90 channels.
So 90 simultaneous channels on one frequency set, the R16?
So I guess if we just wind back and have a think about how digital compares to the analog wireless of G4, one thing we don't need to think about now is intermodulation, where you might have 2, 3, 4 channels of wireless going and for want of a better word, some ghost channels appear in between those nodes of wireless transmission, causing intermodulation, which is a terrible sound. That's where you would hear the
and
sound.
Even doing a setup sometimes with people widely apart on stage and then moving toward each other, it can be a startling thing at the show when people do move toward each other, and that does occur, the intermodulation. We've got our transmitters an inch apart here. That was just done.
We should put them on top of each other.
Now they're
1, 2, 1, 2. Let's put that into the mix as well. Good. So if there's no intermodulation, how do we set those 90 channels up?
So I have downloaded the app, being the Sennheiser
EW Smart
Assist app. Downloaded in 30 seconds and was really easy to use and set up. So ideally you would have your receivers turned on. It finds them all on the app and sets them all an appropriate channel. Sync the transmitters with those, and you see all of the information on the app about the gain structure and all of that, because you don't have a screen on the transmitter, whether it be the handheld or the belt pack. So if you are up on stage, it's just really easy with the Bluetooth function on your phone to be able to see what each transmitter is doing, adjust them if needed, but really it sets it up all for you. You don't need to worry about finding smaller channels in between where you are. It just sets up to 90 with the one frequency set being the R16.
No more frequency banks, no more channels within those frequency banks, less requirement for a channel manager, if you like, to take care of all your wireless on stage. Plug it in at the start of the show, make sure that everything's synced up, do it via the app. What if you don't have your phone with you?
Well, who doesn't have their phone with them?
Yeah, I know.
You can do everything on the screen of the receiver.
If you need to, you can go through and set up gain for the microphone.
Well, that's an interesting one because they tout the wide dynamic response of the systems, and it really does make it so much more musical to listen to. It's like a very natural voice or instrument when you're listening to something that's got the dynamic range that these have, and the setting of the gain structure is such that you really shouldn't need to do a heck of a lot of adjustment even with the gain input on there.
Straight out of the box, I think it's set to, was it 21 dB? And via the app or via the front panel, if you need to, you can dial that way down if you've got a screamer, or if you've got a whisperer, you can dial it up, gain it up a bit.
I don't think you're going to really, you will be able to distort it if you want at the transmitter stage. Having that wide dynamic range is just so musical.
That's the thing we've noticed most from listening to EW-D is just how good it sounds. Not only the huge dynamic range on the actual transmitters up to 134 dB, but also just the extended frequency response, especially with the extremes top and bottom. So very natural sounding, probably the closest we're going to get to cable.
And that really helps with some of the great capsules that we can load onto the handhelds, or the lapels or headsets that we can plug into the belt packs as well.
Well, that's right. So we've got, if you were to buy a handheld system straight out of the box with a capsule, it comes with the entry-level capsule being the 835, which sounds like this. I'll switch from the lapel straight to here now. La, 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 la. I don't know if that peaked or not, but you can go through...
Don't judge us on that.
Yeah, you can go through any of the capsules. So from here, you can go straight to the 900 series, which we think sounds unreal in comparison.
Can you just do that now? Now, while he's doing that, you'll notice that you won't be hearing anything of clacking or anything while he's adjusting that, because it does automatically mute while you're changing the capsule over as well.
La la la!
Now, if someone had a good voice, you'd really notice a difference in those capsules too.
Well, why don't you talk into one? Let's put the Neumann on, because that's a ripper.
No, I said somebody with a good voice. I just want to go back to the app for a tick, because
Please.
You've got all of you can check your battery level on the app. Pretty much everything that's on the front screen of the receiver you can see on the app. You'll also see, they call it channels, so I think we've got channel 4, maybe 3, 4 and 5. So they've automatically found those channels, loaded them up on there through the app, and it was seamless to do it. And we can see everything there. Yeah, well, I can't really do any better than you, can I? So that's how it sounds. That's how it sounds, with a nice, strong voice.
I guess you were talking about interchangeability, and, you know, for us, the base set, it's called an SKM, being the handheld, base set is the way to go. So if you want a condenser capsule, you can choose the KK series condenser capsules from Neumann, or you can choose a 965 from Sennheiser condenser capsule, or you can choose the new series, the MM445 or the MM435, depending on if you want cardioid or supercardioid. They're all valid, you know, build your own dream handheld, basically.
When you do remove your capsules, of course, you've got your little rubber disc to protect the circuitry in there. So that makes it really ideal for production companies who will really utilise one transmitter and a whole range, a dearth of capsules that you could put on there. So when Artie's talking about the base system, we're
Yes.
talking about a transmitter without a capsule,
That's right.
a receiver. You get all your rack mount hardware in there as well. What else do you get in there? You get batteries for it. What about charging?
Okay, so it's just your standard Pro cells that you're going to stick in there. You're going to get around about up to 8 hours worth of battery life.
And they're on AA A's.
That's 2 AA's, yep.
How many hours?
Up to 8 hours, and because we're only sticking out 10 milliwatts of power there, which is ample for the distance that you can get out of this, only 10 milliwatts of power, so extended battery life, up to 8 hours worth of battery life. If you want to choose the lithium-ion battery, which is the BA70, which you can get with the recharger, obviously, up to 12 hours use there. That's enough for a gig.
And the recharger works via USB?
Yes, so plug it into whatever you want. It's just a USB-C connector, I think it is. And
So
away
all
you go.
charging happens out of the units. There's no USB inputs in any of the transmitters or receivers. So that means that you can do quick changes if required, because you've got all your batteries charging at the desk or whatever.
That's right. We talked about distance just then.
Well, I talked about 10 milliwatts. I wouldn't imagine that sort of power is going to get a lot of distance.
It gets a huge amount of distance. Sennheiser are suggesting 300 feet, which we know in Australia is roughly 100 metres.
I've seen this system actually be used up to 300 metres. It was in an outdoor scenario, but that's kind of amazing that it can get to that. And we would never suggest that you want to go out that far and risk that.
No, ridiculous.
But certainly just gives you an idea of the technology that this uses and how successful it is for long transmission.
Who's using this? We imagine it can be used by just about anyone for wireless microphone applications. Ideal for a school who might want to string 3 or 4 systems for their auditorium. It could be for a band on stage. Maybe a guitarist just wants one system. Maybe you want to have the touring act with 2 vocals worth, 2 guitars worth. It works fine in all those settings. In fact, is now a good time to throw to the band. I think they're warming up at the moment, is that right?
I heard something at the back.
It looks like they are.
Is that all of them?
Well, no, yes. And then we can go through what all of these different capsules sound like. I don't know, is that it?
Well, that sounds good. Just like to mention that when we were syncing these earlier, we noticed that you cannot sync without having a capsule onto the handheld transmitter either, which is...
Makes sense.
Yeah. All right, good. They are ready to go, aren't they?
Yep, ready to go. Well, I guess we'll see you in 3 years, will we?
Oh, you're talking to me?
Yes.
Possibly.
We'll see you back again soon.
Yeah, all right.
Good.
Good job.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, viewers.